Good afternoon and welcome to Quays News. I'm Natalie Durkin.
And I'm Jamie Mackin. This is what we've got coming up in the show. Manchester United sack manager Erik ten Hag. We're live at Old Trafford later in the show with the latest.
We find out how impactful the BBC's relocation to Media City has been since 2011 and how it has impacted travel in the area.
A lot of traffic today.
Yeah. And what do you think of getting into Media City? There's only really one entrance. Is it quite difficult to navigate?
It's easy to find and get in and out, but you can be sat queuing for a while.
A support group in Salford uses music to help people with dementia deal with what they're going through.
You could still live well with dementia in many ways, but one of the really special ones is everyone knows music.
Monsters have been popping up all over Manchester this week as the UK's biggest Halloween festival returned this weekend. More on this later in the show. The BBC's relocation to Media City has been described as one of the biggest public sector relocation in UK history, according to reports, transforming Salford into a major media hub. But along with the new opportunities, it has brought major issues with traffic and accessibility in and out of the area. Our reporter Emily Trelfer spoke to commuters and brings this report.
Since its grand unveiling in 2012, Media City has transformed Salford, creating a dynamic new hub for media and commerce. The move by the BBC, analysed in a recent study by the ISA Institute of Labour Economics, has been described as one of the largest one-off public sector relocations in UK history. Today, the BBC employs around 4,000 people right here in Salford Quays. Employability in the creative sector in the city has grown by 142%, increasing skill level and boosting the local economy.
Yeah, I think they make the area thrive. They bring a lot of attention here, a lot of tourism as well as interested young people. You've got the college not too far away, so yeah, I think it's a real good aspect to the city.
But with all this growth comes challenges. Thousands of people work in this area, with many more living in nearby flats. Yet, there's just one single main road carriageway serving the entire district.
A lot of traffic today.
Yeah. And what do you think of getting into Media City? There's only really one entrance. Is it quite difficult to navigate?
It's easy to find and get in and out, but you can be sat queuing for a while, yeah. And there was a police car when I came, which didn't help, so that was stopping traffic.
Traffic congestion has become a major headache for those commuting in and out of Media City every day. Locals and workers alike have voiced their frustration over the limited access.
If you come in between 8 and 10, it's a bit of a nightmare, especially if you're coming down Regent Road as well.
Yeah, definitely. And there's usually like one road to get into Media City. Do you find that to be quite difficult to access?
Yeah, around here it gets really blocked up, and especially if there's like roadworks, which has been a couple of weeks.
While public transport options like trams and buses help, many believe more needs to be done to ease the flow of traffic. As Media City continues to expand, the hope is that future projects will address these issues, keeping Salford's jewels shining brightly for years to come. Emily Trelfer, reporting from Media City for Quays News.
Back to Media City now. Parking is proving to be a pain for locals around the Quays as residents struggle to find free spaces available near their homes with the rising increase in residential units, which will impact the public. Our reporter Beverly Segunda went to find out more.
Trying to find free parking spaces around the Quays is proving to be an issue for the local community. With inadequate spaces available for residents, they feel like they're being backed into a corner. Local resident Denon Ellis shared his thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, at first I used to really worry because I only recently moved into the Quays. I used to live in Middleton beforehand, so parking was free everywhere. It just wasn't a thing. I know a lot of people are the same as myself. A lot of people in the same building that I live in also park here or down that road, because a lot of the time, even if you do live in one of the buildings, they don't have car park available anyway. And even if it is, you're going to wait for 11 months. So there's an extra £180 on top of that just to park your car where you live. Yeah. So parking here for free or down that road for free is so much better. I know for a lot of fact than lots of people are saying.
The issue has been raised on social media, with locals claiming the situation is only escalating. Members are claiming it may be in a bid to promote public transport, but they are hopeful for more affordable prices in the area. Parking is a big issue for local members of the community and residents that live here in the Quays. Over here on Dakota Avenue, the yellow lines will be put down to tackle the nuisance parking that is taking place. But for the Tram Stop Cafe, where you can get your one-stop tuck shop butties, this seems to be more of a positive than a negative. I spoke to Leonard Lee about this.
Once the yellow lines go down, there won't be no problems at all down here. I will say one thing, all these cars that are parking down here now, they will move somewhere else, so the problem's just going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which you'll probably find out about in the future. But down here, it'll be right as rain because nobody can park down here with the lines down here.
Yeah. And do you think the lines coming down in this area will help you a bit, like with getting in and out a lot easier?
Yeah, it should, yeah. I think so, yeah.
For business owner Leonard Lee, the double yellow lines will aid business and provide ease, but it seems locals will have to pay the price. Beverly Segunda, Dakota Avenue, Quays News.
Dementia can isolate people and make families feel disconnected and alone. But groups like Age Up Salford are trying to change that and bring people together through the power of music. Our reporter Leo Christian brings us this report from one of Salford's music cafes.
Over 30,000 people in Greater Manchester alone live with dementia, and most of them suffer in silence. But companies like Age UK Salford are trying to change that.
When you're living with dementia, it can narrow your social life, and you lose confidence, and you become more wary of situations and so on. Whereas here, this is a safe space. But the beautiful thing about it is that Music in Mind is very much in the moment. We're not going down memory lane so much in these sessions. We're using music as a language to communicate, to have conversations.
I'm the great believer that music is something that links everyone together. I mean, I personally absolutely love music, and we always have that in the groups, but Music in Mind brings professional musicians in as well, to share all their knowledge and skills. Music transcends all things. Anyone can join in playing an instrument, sing along, join it. And the first session was last week, and it was a marvellous success.
I also had the pleasure of speaking to Audrey, who, after being diagnosed with dementia, came here because of her love for music.
A wonderful experience.
Yeah, and how much you've enjoyed it?
I've really enjoyed it every week. I really look forward to it. But I'm sorry, I can't remember everything. There's a lot I can't remember. No, but obviously if somebody repeats it to me, then yeah, it comes back to me.
How much fun is the music aspect, and how can music bring people together?
Well, music does, doesn't it? Well, I think so anyway. No, so it's good. It'd be better still if he came here, but he's passed away. Elvis.
Yeah. Me and Audrey are here having all the fun in the world. She's recreating Elvis by the sound of it. And the most important thing is that Age UK Salford, this isn't their only opportunity. They're opening another one of these incredible music cafes in April as well. And all you have to do to get involved is either phone or email. It's really that easy. And it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Very brilliant, yeah. Some of the people we support here, you know, they've got a range of abilities. So for those that find verbal communication quite difficult, we find that music just sort of creates those connections.
You could still live well with dementia in many ways, but one of the really special ones is everyone knows music and everyone can join in. You don't have to be able to sing, you don't have to be an expert in an instrument. And we're very, very open to anyone coming along, especially if they feel isolated in the community, because this isn't just about people with dementia, it's about their loved ones as well.
Leo Christian, singing the Hokey Pokey in Salford.
With Breast Cancer Awareness Month ending, there's a reminder for women to attend a mammogram if they're offered one. There are more than 3,000 new cases of breast cancer every year in Greater Manchester. Women over 50 should be invited automatically, but the NHS says anyone can contact their GP or local breast cancer screening service. I went to see what happens in these centres. Breast cancer is one of the most common cancers found in women, but recent studies have found that fewer than half of patients in Salford are accepting invitations to attend breast screenings. Screening invitations are sent out to women aged between 50 and 71 across Greater Manchester, but only 69% of women in Salford had accepted their invitation over the past year. Carolyn spotted her symptoms between NHS screenings.
I did. One of the things that made me think about self-examination was watching Lorraine in the morning and the posters that go up on the back of just changing room doors in shops. And I knew that one of the symptoms that I had was on that poster, and without seeing that, I wouldn't really have known. But mine was a visual check rather than a touch, although I did check myself regularly.
Early diagnosis can help treat the cancer faster and far easier, so it is vital that women attend their breast screening appointments. Jerry Murphy is a breast screening nurse conducting over 50 mammograms every day.
Unfortunately, some ladies, because it can feel uncomfortable for some ladies, everybody's breasts are different, so sometimes when it can feel a little bit uncomfortable, but because they say that to other ladies, it can put them off coming. So really, it's probably better to say, just try it yourself.
Mammograms are quick and can show if there is cancer within the breast. Jerry showed me how these mammograms do actually work. As well as attending your breast screening appointments, checking and feeling your chest for any lumps or unusual differences is important. Jackie Misen had undergone radiation treatment after suffering from a rare form of breast cancer.
For me, because mine was in the armpit, I'm very much like, they keep on going on about check your breasts, but they don't make such a big thing about checking your armpits. And I mean, I don't know when that lump appeared, but when I first found it, it was quite big. I mean, maybe if I'd found it earlier on, it might have saved me going through chemo. So I started chemo in January, middle of January this year. So I did 6 months of chemo and then radiotherapy, which I've just finished 2 weeks ago. But I continue with immunotherapy until April next year. And all you want to do is just get your life back, to be able to do stuff and go out and not worry that you're going to catch something.
Although it's rare, there have been cases of people in their mid-20s and early 30s,
but I'm only 24,
also being diagnosed with breast cancer. So raising awareness of these symptoms and how to check is more important than ever. Now, with spooky season on the way, a free event for kids and parents has brought a monster mash to Manchester. Our reporter Charlotte Cole has this for us.
A spooky parade has been terrifying the people of Manchester this weekend, but one thing that isn't scary is the price.
There's so many things that you can book that just get so expensive, and with cost of living now being so high, it makes such a difference having these activities that you can come in and just spend the day just pottering about, and there's no rush to get places, and yeah, it makes a huge difference.
From fancy dress to trick-or-treat challenges, Halloween in the city has it all. And workers here know how tough it can be for parents.
As parents, you're just really looking for stimulus for your kids. And I think just having a whole trail of different visually stimulating things and participatory activity across the city just takes some pressure off parents financially.
With so many activities happening today, I'm curious to find out what's really drawing people here.
I love the games. It's very engaging. It makes me feel young again.
The monsters are a real highlight.
This slime toilet, wasn't it? Putting our hands in the slime toilet.
I've seen the parade before. That was pretty spectacular. That was pretty cool.
With thousands of people attending the event, I think this weekend has been more of a treat than a trick. Charlotte Cole, Quays News.
Half term begins this week. Brilliant for kids, not so much for their parents. Bella Francis has some top tips to keep them entertained.
Today is the first day of half-term week, and if you're already struggling to keep your kids entertained, I've got some helpful tips for you. The Halloween Trail is back at Old Trafford until the 3rd of November, with under-2s going free. If you want to ride a ghastly ghost train or visit a haunted house, Spookfest is also back at the Trafford Centre, with entry priced at £3.50. Salford Community Leisure Centre are running a range of activities for young people, including sports camps, museum trips and school holiday camps. Salford Family Hubs are also offering day trips and play sessions. Why not find out where your local library is? There are 16 in Salford alone, and along with providing endless enrichment, they often put on free activities for kids over the holidays. If theatre is your thing, Salford residents can enjoy free or discounted tickets to select shows at the Lowry. Prefer the big screen? View has Mighty Morning screenings throughout the school holidays where tickets for adults and children cost only £2.49 each. Hungry? Yo Sushi currently has a weekday deal that means for every £10 spent by a full-grown adult, one child under 13 gets a kids bento box for free. There's that and loads of other brilliant food deals, although if your child is usually entitled to free school meals, they may be entitled to school holiday vouchers to help you cover your shopping costs. I hope these tips have been helpful. This has been Bella Francis. Back to you in the studio.
Manchester United have sacked manager Erik ten Hag after 2.5 years with the Premier League side.
Ten Hag was given a brand new contract extension in July after surviving a summer review. Let's cross live now to our reporter Max Hayes, who has been following this story closely today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jamie and Natalie here outside Old Trafford. I've been here pretty much all day following the story quite closely. Of course, it came at lunchtime where the news broke that Erik ten Hag had been sacked as Manchester United manager after just 2.5 years in charge. He had that contract extension in the summer after the FA Cup success against Manchester City, but he has been sacked this evening.
So Max, what's the fans' opinion on the departure?
Yeah, well, some of the fans I've been speaking to today say they're pretty happy that Erik ten Hag has been sacked. I actually haven't managed to find one single fan that was slightly disappointed. Here's what some of them made earlier today.
It took too long. Should have been done 12 months ago. You know, I think giving them the graceful year of an extension after the FA Cup final, for me, business should have been dealt with there and then. He should have said, no, that's it, thanks, we're going a different direction, and let's cut ties then. But to sign him up to another deal and have a severance package of what expected as £17 million, I think it's just disappointing, to be honest with you.
I think he would be a good manager for Manchester United, as well as Xavi, like he said. I think he'd be a great manager for Manchester United, obviously playing for him before.
The cup final brought him a bit of more time with the fans, but this season they've won 3 games. I mean, it's just not good enough, and the result on the weekend, it's summed up really everything that's wrong with United. The players aren't cohesive, they're making too many mistakes, and it's on him because most of that squad are his players. I think we'll see what Ruud van Nistelrooy does in the next few games, and if he does well, he might get that until the end of the season, but there's not that many options available at the minute. So Southgate's an option, but he's going to have to do a lot to win the fans over because his possession play doesn't really suit the style of football that United are known for at all.
Well, that was what some of the fans had to say, and many names have been linked with the Manchester United job. When we think and talk about Manchester United, it is such a historic club in English football, and they really should be up there competing in the Premier League. But sat 14th currently, 7 points off those Champions League qualification places. I'm sure the board here in Ineos and their new ownership will be quite quickly trying to get somebody in through the door. Thomas Frank has been quite heavily linked, as well as Graham Potter, but one name that is currently the bookies' favourite and leading the way is former England manager Gareth Southgate. So we shall see. But look, I've got a pretty good track record on Football Manager and FIFA, so maybe I'll chuck myself in for the race.
Thanks for that, Max. And now here's Jasmine with an update on the weather.
Good afternoon, here is your latest weather report. Today has started off mild and mostly cloudy with drizzly rain in most places. We may see 1 or 2 slightly brighter spells throughout the day, with the temperature reaching a maximum of 15 degrees. Now at around 8 p.m, unfortunately it is going to get extremely cloudy with an 80% chance of rain, and it isn't planning to clear up until after midnight, where after that the rain will be travelling through to the northeast. The wind speeds aren't going to be too strong this evening, despite the heavy rain speeds of up to 14 miles per hour, and the temperature will be dropping to 10 degrees. The rain will be continuing through early Tuesday morning. However, as we get further into the morning, around 7 a.m, we should finally start to see clear skies and no rain, with some sunny intervals during the afternoon. In terms of the rest of the week, it is looking to stay dry with a mix of cloud and sunny intervals. We may see some fog through the evenings, but that is due to clear. That was your weather report. Now back to you, Jamie and Natalie in the studio.
Thanks, Jasmine, and that's all we have time for today.
Be sure to follow us on our socials at Quays News. Thank you and goodbye.